I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is our second meeting of January 19, 2023. If you would rise with me. Commissioner Castlen, if you'd lead us in prayer and the pledge.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings we have within our community and within our great nation. Please guide us as your children that we may treat all others with the love and kindness you have taught us. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'm going to just ask if you would, if you've got your cell phones on, if you'd put them on silent, if you got your cell phones with you so we don't get distracted while we're having our meeting. I don't see him, but there he is, our senator. I wanted to welcome our senator, Gary Boswell. Thank you for joining us this evening. And Sheriff Keith Kane, our former retired sheriff. Thank you for joining us, sir. And our current sheriff, I thought I saw him in the room. And we just want to make you all three feel welcome. So thank you for joining us. Jenny?
Item 1, consideration for presentation. A, 2022 Christmas at Panther Creek Park check presentations.
Okay, we've got several checks to present. For Ross, you want to come up and tell folks what we're doing and who's getting checks and how much?
Judge, I do believe that is the most important part, obviously, with regards to exactly how much we are going to be presenting tonight on behalf of Christmas at Panther Creek. Of the 30-plus applicants that submitted back in September and October, these 5 were chosen by a member of our Parks Board by lottery. Of the 5,500 cars that drove through Panther Creek Park, and the 16 to roughly 20,000 attendees who enjoyed the lights and the opportunity during the course of those 5 weeks. We are very proud tonight to be able to present 5 checks, all of them equal of $2,753.36, which in essence means that we had collected $27,533 during the course of the 5 weeks of Christmas at Panther Creek. Tonight, we have 5 different agencies. I'm not sure that all of them are going to be able to be with us tonight, but the first we'd like to do is with the Wendell Foster Center. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of the board, the staff, and the thousands that we serve and support at Wendell Foster every year, this is an amazing way and a big help to us meeting our mission of empowering people with disabilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next agency is the Joe Ford Nature Center.
On behalf of the Joe Ford Nature Center, I just want to let you know how grateful I am to be a part of that event and grateful to you for allowing us to be a part of it. Thank you very much. God bless.
The next agency is Owensboro Regional Recovery.
If you don't mind, we'd like to get a group picture after everybody's presented. Thank you. We won't hold you past that, though.
Thank you for selecting Owensboro Regional Recovery to be part of this year's event. We really appreciate it. We enjoy being able to get out and help our community. Our clients enjoyed it. We had a very good time doing it, even though we got the coldest nights. I think I have the feeling back in my toes by now. So.
Thank you very much. The next organization is Elite SAR Training.
On behalf of the Lead Star Training and our board of directors back here, along with some of our officers, thank you guys for providing the opportunity for us to come out. This money will go towards helping us fulfill our mission of bringing high-quality search and rescue training to the area and more available to our local responders and volunteer organizations. So thank you.
Thank you.
And the last organization is Southern Oaks Elementary PTO.
On behalf of Southern Oaks Elementary, we would just like to say thank you so much. We were just able to purchase a new playground for our boys and girls, and if you could just hear the squeals and the laughter and the joy from all of our students. And so on behalf of all of our staff and faculty and our students, we thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, I would like to remind all of our local nonprofits, if they are interested in pursuing an opportunity to apply, that they could let me know now. And when those are available in September, I'd be happy to send that to them as well.
Very good.
Thank you.
If we could do these one at a time, we'd appreciate it. Let's go around. Okay. Thank you. That's always one of the fun things to be able to do is to reward these volunteer organizations after they've participated for those who don't know, they're the ones that have to provide volunteers to work take up the money when folks come through. So anyway, I've been on nonprofits that have done that as well, and it's kind of makes for a kind of fun week. This year there were some folks who got some really cold nights, and we missed. Ross, I don't know. There were 2 nights that we had to shut down because it was bitter cold, dangerously cold. And so these numbers would have been higher if we had those, the traffic, because those were right before Christmas, which is when our traffic's typically higher. Jenny, next item.
Item B, Treasurer's Report for December 2022.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Total cash balance is $65,837,591 for all funds. General fund balance is $28,169,797. The only noteworthy item I have is that we have begun to receive property tax revenue from the sheriff's office. Otherwise, all funds are operating within our expected ranges, and there is nothing else to report.
Okay. And for the public, this report is available in the treasurer's office if if you want to come in and see it. Jenny, next item.
Item 2A, consideration for approval, A, minutes of the January 5th, 2023 Davis County Fiscal Court meeting.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Got a second, first and a second. Do we have any corrections, deletions, or amendments to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries.
B, all claims for all departments.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, you have before you all the claims, all the bills due and payable by the fiscal court. Do we have any questions of the treasurer? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
C, treasurer's final settlement for the 6 months ended December 31, 2022.
Move to approve.
Second?
Jordan?
As an outgoing treasurer, Jim Hendricks was required by law to present a final settlement to fiscal court that covered the 6 months he served as treasurer this fiscal year. The figures you see presented in his settlement are the same as the summary statement in the treasurer report that was presented earlier in the agenda, since our financials are reported to date. Although the settlement does include additional information such as bank account balances or long-term debt and a schedule that summarizes operating revenue by source. I have reviewed his settlement, found no issues or inconsistencies with my records. This item is under consideration for approval merely to enter the document into the record to be audited at a later date. It is, like all our financial statements, available to the public upon request, and I would recommend approval.
Any questions for our treasurer? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Jenny?
D, annual authorization allowing the judge executive to execute and submit any and all court-approved documents.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion and a second, and who's, Jordan?
Yes, Judge, anytime the court approves an item, this authorization would allow the judge executive to sign and submit any and all documents that stem from that item as long as the court's approval is not modified. This item is simply for efficiency of conducting county business and only grants the judge executive the authority to sign documents that fulfill the original intent of a court-approved item. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Jordan? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jenny?
E, fiscal year 22-23 salary schedule update.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Jordan?
Yes, Judge. County Engineer Brasher has met with each of you regarding the reclassification of 2 existing employees from utility laborers at the road department to building and ground service technicians, and the change in grade of pay for the sign technician to reflect new supervisory duties. The updated schedule in your binders reflects those changes, with the 2 reclassifications moving from grade 1 to grade 2, and the modification to the sign shop technician moving from grade 3 to grade 7. Since all 3 changes result in a higher grade of pay, they appear later on in the agenda for approval as promotions to their new titles and roles. Public Works Management, Human Resources, and myself have reviewed these changes, and I request your approval.
Any questions for the treasurer? No. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jenny?
F, Resolution 1, 2023 Davis County Public Library District appointments.
Make the motion to approve.
Second?
So we got a motion and a second, and County Attorney, if you don't mind speaking to this issue, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So until this year, by state law, library board members were appointed by the judge executive from 2 names that were supplied by the library board. One of those 2 names had to be appointed. And I think in many cases that system worked well, even though libraries had taxing authority and were basically self-appointing. This is just sort of a history of why this law was passed recently. In some counties, there was friction between the fiscal courts and library boards, especially when the boards were raising taxes. In some counties, libraries had higher property tax rates than fiscal court. So this year, an alternate method of appointment was made by passage of Senate Bill 136 in the regular session of our state legislature. And now, if the judge executive does not approve of both names that were submitted to him by the library board, he can request 2 more names. If he doesn't approve of those names, then the judge executive may appoint his own person of his choosing. So it gives the judge executive a little more power, but it does not stop the current system from continuing to work well. It just allows the judge executive to appoint someone if the nominees given are not suitable. So I hope that helps.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak to this issue? Seeing no takers, are there any questions of the commissioners for Mr. Burley?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Jenny?
G, Resolution 3, 2023, declaring Daviess County's support for the Second Amendment.
Make the motion to approve.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Mr. Burley, I'm going to let you speak to this if you would.
Yes, sir, thank you. I have reviewed the resolution, and it is almost identical to the resolution passed by McLean County and similar to resolutions that have been passed by over 110 counties, I think, across the state. I believe that it's legal, and furthermore, our Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, issued an opinion in 2020 that stated that these resolutions do not violate state law, and more specifically, they do not violate Kentucky Revised Statute 65.870 regarding local governments passing laws on firearms. So I would recommend its approval.
Thank you. Do we have
Yes,
any
sir.
any questions by the commissioners at this time, or want to hear from the public? Is anybody from the public would like to speak to this issue? Mr. Potts, if you could come over to the microphone here. If you don't mind my asking, I know you're here representing a group. If I could have a show of hands, how many folks might be represented by Mr. Potts? Okay. The reason I ask is Mr. Potts and I had a conversation, and I had said that I would give him time to speak for the group. Rather than everybody come up and say a few words, we'll let him speak for the group. And so you have the floor, sir.
Okay. My name is Jason Potts. I live at 9821 State Route 2830, Maceo, Kentucky. So thank you all for allowing me the time to speak tonight. I'm here tonight with this large group of a nonpartisan grassroots group of your fellow Americans, fellow Kentuckians, and fellow Daviess Countyans. We're here to ask for your help. And if all that sounds familiar, I was here with the same group in 2020 with the exact same request, so almost exactly 3 years ago today. So we want to start off by thanking the members of Fiscal Court, the county attorney, the staff, all your work drafting a resolution that we can all support. And if any of the opponents of this resolution, if there are any opponents, I hope there's not, if any of them claim that local law enforcement does not support it, they're mistaken. Sheriff Youngman and retired sheriffs Keith Kane and Barry Smith have all publicly stated their support for this resolution. These 3 men have nearly 100 years of combined law enforcement experience, and we appreciate their service and their support of the Constitution that's evidenced by their support of this resolution. Now, I do only have a limited time to speak tonight, so I'm not going to use a lot of that time talking about the details of the resolution itself. You all have it, you've read it, so you know what's in it. With the exception of changing the county name, the date, and the judge executive's name, it's identical, as Mr. Begley said, to the McLean County resolution that the Kentucky Attorney General has already ruled is permissible under state law. The resolution sends a clear message, an important message that I'll discuss in a lot more detail here shortly. And importantly, it's a reasonable resolution with reasonable language that no reasonable person who understands and appreciates the rights we enjoy in this country would oppose. What I do want to spend most of my time discussing is why this resolution is necessary. Any of you who've heard me speak elsewhere, this is not a surprise. I have an absolute love for this country, for its Constitution, and its people. I want each of you to hear me really clearly on this part. We're all unbelievably blessed to live in this country and at this time. If you study the billions of the people who have lived in the history of this world and the billions of people, most of the billions of people who live today, sorry, I'm losing my place, you'll realize that the freedom and prosperity we enjoy in this country are an exception to the rule. Most of the people who have lived and most of the people who still live were subject to the whims of a small class of elites who enjoy unlimited rights and dole out only a few of those rights to the masses as they see fit. And remember, anything that somebody can grant to you, they can also take back, they can also revoke. When the U.S. Constitution was written, it declared that we don't do that here. Not at all. Here, our elected representatives, the military, the police, government employees, celebrities, wealthy people, they don't have rights that the rest of us don't have. We all have the same rights. The U.S. Constitution and the Kentucky Constitution have the same first words. Those words are not "we the elites," followed by "you, everybody else." Those words are "we the people." We the people. That means, as clear as anything can be, that we all have the same rights here. They're all guaranteed by this document. Simply put, this Constitution has been responsible for this country's unprecedented freedom and unprecedented prosperity. Every elected representative at every level swore an oath to support that Constitution. This group gathered here, everybody that raised their hands that I'm here representing, considers this Constitution of utmost importance. And we expect our elected representatives to abide by those oaths. No exceptions. Unfortunately, some of our federal and state representatives seem to have forgotten the oath that they swore and have been working to try to take away constitutionally guaranteed rights away from those of us who they work for. And the folks who seek to destroy our country and our Constitution, they've been attacking these priceless rights for decades, and their most frequent target is the Second Amendment. History tells us that gun control inevitably leads to gun bans, and you really don't have to look very far to see examples of this. I literally was typing this very part of my speech last week when I heard on the news that Illinois had just passed a ban on firearms that many citizens, both there and here, legally and harmlessly own. It's really awesome to see the number of Illinois sheriffs and the number of Illinois regular citizens who are fighting back against what just got passed last week. I heard just a little bit ago that there's 102 counties in Illinois. 90 sheriffs have signed on to oppose what they just passed. But we're requesting this resolution to not let ourselves get to the point where we have to fight back. Federal politicians and even some Kentucky politicians in both parties have proposed similar actions and passed similar actions, and no doubt they'll keep doing so. These are direct attacks on the rights of your constituents. To those folks in Washington and in Frankfort that would pass this kind of legislation, those of us here in Daviess County, we're just a bunch of nameless, faceless obstacles standing right in the way of their goal, of their dream of a disarmed populace. But I ask each of you to look out in this crowd, look around this crowd, and you'll see all these faces that you recognize. We're anything but that to each of you all. We're your neighbors, we're your friends, we go to the same churches, we work together, our kids go to the same schools. We need you, the local representatives that we just elected, to be a buffer between us and the unconstitutional laws that could come out of Washington and Frankfort. This issue has essentially been idle in Daviess County since early 2020, but it's been anything but idle elsewhere. As of now, 19 states, 114 out of 120 Kentucky counties, and 6 Kentucky cities have passed some sort of Second Amendment resolution. This is actually my dad. He's helping me out, as he always does. You see, this is a map of Kentucky with every county on it. The green counties have passed a Second Amendment resolution. There are 6 counties that have not. You see that Daviess County is an island right now. All the counties around us, and again, 95% of the counties in the state have passed. Thanks, Dad.
Are we going to be the 115th?
Yes, that's right, yeah. We're asking you all to make Davis County the 115th county, leaving only 5 counties in the state that have not. So we do want you to pass this resolution to formally declare your support for the constitutional rights of every single Davis County citizen, not just a few of them. Let's join 95% of Kentucky's other counties, or 95% of Kentucky's counties, to send a message to Washington and Frankfort that what the elites in the Illinois legislature just did to the people there will not be tolerated here. So in conclusion, we're thrilled that you plan to take action on this resolution tonight. I've been waiting 3 years to see this on a meeting agenda, and it's awesome. Thank you for putting it on the agenda. 3 years might be a record for trying to get something passed, but we're tired of holding the record, and we don't want it to get any longer. So we're thrilled and glad, and thank you that this day has come. So at this point, that's all I've got. If you have any questions for me or for our group, I'd be happy to try to answer them. So thank you.
Thank you. Any of the commissioners have any comments for Mr. Potts or any questions?
I don't. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on the opposite side in opposition to this resolution? I don't see any. Yes, sir? You would come up? If you don't mind identifying yourself giving your name and address for the record, please.
My name is David Fleischman. I live at 4345 Old Harvard Road.
Mr. Fleischman, could you, the mic, it's either not on or you might have to use the other one there.
It might not be on.
Okay. As Jason said, we all are in this together. I happen to go to church with Jason and his dad, Sammy. Really good people. I disagree with this resolution. I do not believe that Davis County needs to go over the cliff with the rest of the counties. I believe our law allows the Second Amendment to continue as it is. The biggest question I've got, forget all the other things I think about, the biggest question I've got is, who is going to decide what law that is passed in DC or Frankfurt is unconstitutional? Will that be our courts, or will that be a group of citizens that do not have a legal standing except being citizens? That, to me, is what it comes down to. Who is going to decide what law that our law enforcement people will not enforce? Who is going to decide that question? I'll let it go with that.
Okay. Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any comments or questions for Mr. Flashman? Hearing none. So we've heard from both sides. Do any of the commissioners wish to speak to this issue?
No, I don't.
And nor do I. We've got a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Jenny?
H, MOA between the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Department of Military Affairs, Division of Emergency Management, and 120 local jurisdictions of the Commonwealth to establish an agreement for an emergency management assistance program.
Motion to approve?
I'll second it.
We got a motion and a second on this. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Judge, this agreement is for the Emergency Management Assistance Program, which is the pool of funds that we tap in order to recover a percentage of emergency management employees' salaries. You remember during last court, we approved items related to this agreement in regards to reporting hours for EMA personnel. We participate in this agreement annually, and it is a program available to all 120 counties in the Commonwealth. I would recommend approval.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Johnson? Any questions from any citizens on this issue? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I, KYEM, Emergency Management Assistance Program, non-supplanting certification.
Move to approve.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Jordan?
This certification states that Davis County Fiscal Court will not pursue grants through this particular program for items that are already budgeted, meaning we will only request assistance for expenses we would not otherwise pursue. without grant funding. We approve this annually. It is a standard certification that is required by state EMA. I would recommend approval.
Any questions from the fiscal court for Jordan?
No.
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jenny?
J, annual order of affiliation agreement with the Daviess County Sheriff and Rescue Team.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson?
This is an annual affiliation agreement between Daviess County and the Daviess County Search and Rescue Team, otherwise known as SAR. Since SAR is not a department of fiscal court and is instead an affiliated agency, we renew this agreement each year to detail the responsibilities of each party to ensure we are in compliance with state law so that SAR can assist the county and city agencies in events that call for their involvement. There are no changes from the prior year agreement. EMA Legal and myself have reviewed it. It is in order, and I would recommend approval.
Any questions from the commission for Mr. Johnson?
No.
No.
I just want to take a second and thank the search and rescue groups. They're all volunteers that do one of the folks that just got the checks handed to them. They were trainers, provide training, and the search and rescue people, they do a tremendous number of hours training throughout the year. And they do great work for our community. Again, it's all volunteer, and so that's all I have to say. And then Jenny, I'll do that after the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. And for all of you who were here for the Second Amendment thing, you don't have to stay, but if you want to stay, you're welcome to. Jenny, next item.
K, engineering services agreement with WBW Engineering Incorporated for HVAC design replacement at the Morton J. Holbrook Jr. Judicial Center.
Motion to approve?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Judge, the HVAC system at the Judicial Center is in need of updating, and upon review by maintenance management, it would seem that it's more expensive to retrofit than replace at this point. We notified the Administrative Office of the Courts of the need, and through their Court Facilities Project Program, they have agreed to reimburse the design costs of a new system totaling $38,100. Once completed, we would use this design to bid out the replacement of the HVAC system, at which point we will notify AOC of that lump sum cost and seek approval for full reimbursement prior to award of the bid, per our standard practice for capital projects at the Judicial Center. AOC, the county engineer, maintenance management, and myself have reviewed the agreement. It is in order, and I would recommend approval.
Commissioner Condor.
Just a curious question, Jordan. How old is that HVAC system that covers that entire judicial center out there?
Just over 30 years.
30 years. So it's being held together with just bubble gum and baling wire. Thank you, sir.
And Jordan, the ALC will be reimbursing us for this cost, right?
They are aware of our estimate of the cost. Do you mean for the design costs?
Yes.
Yes, the agreement that they have already signed is just
Yes.
behind that estimate. They have
Okay.
agreed to.
Okay. Any other questions for Jordan?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jenny?
L, playground lease agreements with the Diocese of Owensboro, Stanley, and Whitesville Playground Associations.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Ross?
Judge, Commissioners, this is 3 individual lease agreements providing the recreational youth baseball and softball programs commonly referred to as our Daviess County Playground Association. Essentially, there are 7 ball fields between these 3 locations. One thing that is of specific interest, as a county government, we own the park at Stanley, where the property is, where the ball fields are being used by their playground association, as do we there at Whitesville behind the old elementary school. So this grants them the opportunity to use those individual fields. As far as the Diocese of Owensboro owning the 2 fields at St. Williams, they're in Knoxville, this is an agreement with the diocese to be able to allow those teams access to those individual ball fields as well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ross?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jenny?
M, concessions contract with Owensboro Davis County Babe Ruth League at Panther Creek Park.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Got a first and second on the this is Ross also. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Judge. Essentially, we sign an annual agreement with the local Babe Ruth League and their concessions chair to be able to provide the concession services at Panther Creek Park for a rate of a vendor utility fee of $15 per day per concession stand. So we track that throughout the course of the season from whenever they begin in April all the way through the 31st of October, and then we will invoice them for their operations. It was many years ago that we determined that the operations of concessions was not something that we wanted to get into in tracking hot dogs, and I believe it was Commissioner Lambert at the time who really kind of figured that out for us. But essentially, they need to be open for at least 1 hour per day, and again, that will run throughout the course of our season for both our local recreational leagues and also our tournaments that are offered at Panther Creek.
Okay. Any questions for Ross?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Jenny?
N, award quote for election equipment to Harp Enterprises Incorporated, Davis County Clerk.
Move to approve.
Second?
Got a motion second. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Judge, this quote is for additional election equipment to accommodate Clerk McCarty's 2023 and presidential year election plan for the Davis County Clerk's Office. When we originally purchased election equipment in 2021, it was under the assumption there would be 56 voting locations, one for each precinct. The state then allowed the use of voting centers, which took our number of voting locations down to 12, meaning a number of the original ADA machines went unused in 2022's primary and general elections. Clerk McCarty found that the unused machines can be converted by HARP into on-demand ballot printing units at a cheaper rate than actually purchasing new, so as to utilize the unused machines, lower election printing costs, and make more units available to the public. She is also requesting additional voting tabulation units to reduce congestion at the ballot scanning stations and the purchase of auto ballot kits to increase the efficiency in the ballot retrieval process or reducing the opportunity for human error. The total cost of Clerk McCarty's request is $178,965. That includes 15 voting tabulation units, 30 conversions from ADA machines to on-demand ballot printing units, 40 auto ballot kits, 30 printer bags, and 15 Verity scan drives, which are used to transfer tabulated data. If approved, I will attempt to seek reimbursement through HAVA and DLG funds, though that determination would not be made by the State Board of Elections until later this year. With the excess fees turned over to fiscal court from the clerk's office, this expense would have no negative impact to general fund operations. Clerk McCarty is present and available to answer any questions that you may have.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for our county clerk, Leslie McCarty, or for Jordan?
I do not.
And I apologize for not recognizing you when I recognized the others, but thank you for being with us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jenny?
J, promote Christopher Taylor to Building and Ground Service Technician effective January 22nd, 2023.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion second. Mark, I think this is yours.
Yes, Judge. This is a promotion, and so is the next two. This is in preparation of organizing Public Works Department to run more efficiently and more independent internally. This will help with us maintaining the parks throughout the mowing season. It will also benefit the road department during snow and ice season, and also with our sign shop. The expectation is to, with maybe hopefully the next fiscal court, bring to fiscal court 2 new positions for building and ground service tech. That will allow us to mow our 4 parks that we currently have internally, not depending on the jail. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for our engineer? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jenny?
P, promote Daniel Hatcher to Building and Ground Service Technician effective January 22, 2023.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Brasher's already spoken to this, so I'm going to pass on calling on you again, sir. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Brasher? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jenny?
Q, promote Tom Hall to Sign Shop Supervisor effective January 22, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Again, Mr. Brasher's already spoke to this. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Brasher? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Jenny?
R, appoint Davis County Sheriff Brad Youngman to the Ambulance Contracting Authority effective January 1, 2023.
Motion to approve?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, and I just want to thank our sheriff for agreeing to serve in this capacity. And anybody have any questions?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
S, appoint Davis County Sheriff's Office Captain Dwayne Harper to the Davis County ASAP Board effective 1/1/2023.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Again, I want to thank Captain Dwayne Harper for agreeing to serve in this capacity. Thank you for being with us this evening, sir. Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
T, appoint Major Davis County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Nick Roby to the Davis County Animal Care and Control Board effective December 31, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those, whoops. I want to thank you, sir, for agreeing to service in this capacity, and thank you for being with us this evening. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3, consideration for discussion. A, other business to be brought before the Davis County Fiscal Court. I'm not aware of any.
Okay, very good.
B, public comments.
At this point, we allow anybody that's in the audience that wishes to speak to any item that was not on the agenda to come forward, identify yourself for the record, and share your thoughts. Any takers? I don't see anybody. Jenny?
C, comments by Davis Fiscal Court.
Commissioner Condor?
Thank you, Judge. Just two things. One, just of an event that went through this week that was, the keynote speaker was Chris Singleton, a young athlete who had experienced tragedy in his family that was really reaching out of how individuals can actually heal through a process of helping others. And I think we should all remember that, not just on special days like we had this week, but every day. The other one that I've had several calls in regards to the internet service that hopefully Coexit is going to be providing. Is there a way, possibly, Jordan, for us to be able to put out to the public where they could go to a website, put their address in maybe, and find out when they're going to get service?
Yes, sir. Connection Connect has a service availability link where any member of Kinergy can log in, enter their address, and see if a timeline has been posted for their area. We have posted that link on our Facebook before. We can again.
Thank you, sir. I think it's very important. People are really wanting to know when that great service that they're promising is going to be showing up, because there are still issues out in the county of you just have some Wi-Fi deserts out there. So thank you very much. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Commissioner Marksberry?
I just wanted to applaud those who continue to seek the 2A resolution. I'm impressed with your patriotism, your tenacity, and your professionalism. Thank you. You're welcome.
Anything else?
That's all.
Commissioner Castlen?
No, sir. No comments.
And other than to echo what Commissioner Condor mentioned, I was at that event also where the gentleman spoke, and he was quite a powerful speaker. He had a good delivery, interjected a lot of humor in what I think would be a very painful remembrance. His family, his mother was one of those that was killed in, is it South Carolina, where the gentleman that I shouldn't
Yes.
say gentleman, the person who went in and executed the people that were at a prayer Bible study. And his desire was to create a race war. And this young man gave a powerful speech, and I'm glad I was able to be there. That's all I have. Without further business, this meeting is adjourned.